Live. Actually, I'm a bit nervous.
Why?
I like I don't read much about you, so I don't know. My, my, my,
uh,
my reference is only your TikTok videos. So I think based on your TikTok videos, you're a nice person. Your grandfather is nice. Uh, yeah,
yes.
actually, I did not expect that he would be that nice. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, like last year, from October 2018 to June last year, I think we met 6 times, and he met us for more than an hour, and most four of those times were in his house.
Oh, here. Okay.
So you're there or beside?
I'm right next to him.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna tag you, and actually we're live. So hello everybody. I know you're hearing us. I'm not sure about your internet connection, but in case that my lips are delayed, you just think you're watching a Korean novela, that that there's a Filipino translation coming afterwards. So okay, wait, I'm gonna. So it's a privilege for me right now to be with Miss Christine. Sorry, Kristen Ponce-Enrile, but you prefer to be called Chris, right? Based on your.
My, my
Okay,
friends call me Chris. Yes.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
And I actually I don't know what to say. I'm a bit like starstruck, but anyway, yeah.
Okay.
uh, well,
No need to be starstruck.
okay,
I'm nobody.
yeah. We I think we had an update from you when you posted your grandfather with the dancing dinosaurs. How did you do
Yeah.
that? I mean, how was it
Uh,
was it your mom?
well, we all of us posted it. I don't really remember whose idea it was, but obviously we've seen all these Enrila memes going around, especially during the pandemic. And one of the funnier ones was that my grandpa had a pet T Rex growing up, and we found these costumes online.
Okay.
So we were like, oh, let's buy it for Halloween. But it came early. So
Okay.
we're just like, okay, we're all stuck here at home. Let's just make a video. So we just asked him like, can you sit here and just sit here? So he just sat there, and we didn't know he was gonna pet us or that he was gonna laugh. It was all organic,
Okay.
nothing scripted. So we were
Yeah.
just like, if you could hear the audio, the real audio, it's just all of us laughing because we don't know what's happening, and we couldn't hear each other because it's hard to hear inside that T Rex costume.
Okay, so you were wearing a T-Rex costume?
Yes, there's eight of us.
Okay, okay. I thought it was,
Or,
his
yeah.
staff. Okay.
No, it was all my mom and all the other grandkids.
Okay. Yeah, actually I'm one of those who made an in really meme. So
Okay.
at first I was scared, so I asked permission from him, but he was cool. So yeah. So anyway, all right. So again, guys, we're live with Miss Chris Ponce-Enrile. She's a granddaughter of former senator or Senate President Juan Ponce-Enrile. We know the senator. We associate him recently with his dinosaurs and memes. But I think we have to. I think it would be interesting for us to have somebody from his line to tell us about that they're what's happening right now with with her life, and I'm sure she's brave enough to answer some questions. And our topic for today is actually related to mental health, and I know it's a topic that requires authenticity. And I think the reason why I chose her, because I've been following her on Instagram since I think last year or 2 years ago, and she's been sharing of this stuff that I think it's they're brave. So Chris, for the first, by the way, do you want to say anything? Do you have friends that you want to greet?
No, it's okay.
Okay, okay,
You can just start.
all right, right, right. All right. So tell us about how is it like to grow up in your family?
Honestly, it was nothing out of the ordinary. My mom was not very strict. The only thing that she was strict about was my grades, or all of our grades.
Okay.
I think, from a young age, everything. And I would always just hear study hard, study hard, study hard. Eventually, when I got older, my mom and my grandpa both kept telling me that the only reason why they say this is because education for them is the only gift I could give myself, So I did not appreciate that
Okay.
as much then as I do now. But thank you. It's been instilled in me now, so I appreciate it now.
So that's the only area that they're strict in terms of your education. Not nothing, nothing else. All right. So what did you take up in college?
I graduated with an accounting degree.
Okay, accounting degree. So yeah.
But I didn't take the CPA exam.
Oh, so
No.
you didn't take it. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's
No.
fine. It's fine. So I think you have an advantage than most of. I think I've been hearing that it's not really political science that is a very good pre-law course, but something related about accountancy, because I have schoolmates who finish political science, but when they are already in their taxation subject, their classmates who took up accounting as pre-law fared better. So I'm not sure how.
I mean, we'll see.
We'll see.
That's
We'll see.
still a long time from now. And, it's been, 4 years since I graduated college. So I don't know if it's still here.
Okay. Okay. By the way, did you grow up here in the Philippines or abroad?
I grew up here, but I've lived in San Francisco also.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. So okay. A news article reported that you wanted to be a lawyer or a dermatologist. I know you forgot about this, but why did you consider back in 2011? Why did you consider to become a dermatologist?
It was just something that interested me at one point in my life, but I knew it wasn't something I could explore. Just the thought of blood makes me cringe, so I knew it wasn't gonna happen. But it was interesting.
Yeah. But did you remember like reading about it or
No, I was just it was just very fascinating to me how things anything to do with the skin, and I didn't want to get into the whole plastic surgery thing, but it was
Okay.
more like not bellow levels,
Okay,
but
okay.
just something like correcting whatever needs to be corrected, kind of thing, or like I don't know, popping pimples was really
Yeah.
really satisfying, but
Yeah.
anything beyond that was not. So
Okay, I
fair.
thought I thought it was related to your mom's post. She's been posting about this fashion beauty post, so I thought maybe that might have influenced you, or did it?
I mean, my mom and I had a blog for 2.5 or 3 years. It was a beauty blog. I guess at some point it did influence that, but like I said, the thought of me having to deal with blood just made me cringe. So I was just like, I can't do this.
All right.
It's not for me.
Okay, so I'll be asking the fourth question. I know we agreed we agreed that you only say little about it, but actually I was confused with the hashtag. So you posted in the Instagram about the Narc survivor. What? Okay, what was that about?
Basically, I use my platform to talk about pressing issues in general, but issues that not a lot of people think are important, or some people think it's very trivial. But in reality, people just don't realize the magnitude of these issues. So that's what I like to use my platform for. Because for me, I don't need to join conversations that people have over and over again. I'd rather start a new conversation that sparks something in someone's mind. And maybe you'll think, oh, I never thought about it like that, or that never came to my mind at all. So when I started speaking up about narcissistic abuse, it was because it happens everywhere all the time, but we don't talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, so what made you interested in that topic? Is it something personal, or just something just you discovered along the way?
I mean, it's obviously crossed paths in my life many times, whether I was in it or I witnessed it or I heard about it. It in this country it happens a lot. And I don't think we're having enough conversations about it.
All right. So yeah. All right. Okay. That's all. So all right. So okay. Now for the sixth question. By the way, I'm just gonna run through this, and if ever it's done, and we're not yet done. The first hour's not done. I'm gonna throw some questions that might interest us. All right. So what took you so long to enroll in law school?
Okay. Obviously, I always wanted to be a lawyer growing up. I don't remember at what age I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, but I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer for a very long time.
Okay.
But when I asked myself the question of why do you want to be a lawyer, the only answer I could come up with was, oh, because my grandpa was a lawyer. And for me, for myself, that wasn't a good enough reason as to me pursuing law school just because my grandpa did it, I needed to figure out what it was about the law that I was drawn to. And when I realized what it was, I knew I was ready for law school.
All right. So aside from your grandfather and his father, is there any other lawyer in the family?
Actually, 3 out of my 4 grandparents were lawyers. So both of my dad's parents were lawyers.
Oh, really?
And I also, yes, I didn't know this until the day before the LAE exam. So the day before my LAE exam, my family and I, we all had dinner, my siblings.
Okay. Hello. Hello. Chris. 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 Hello, Chris. Wait.
We're
Wait.
lawyers.
Wait.
And oh, sorry.
Sorry. It's okay. It's okay. I think I lost you. All right. So you said you were having a family dinner.
Yes.
Okay.
And on the way to the dinner, my mom had.
Okay. All right. All right. So wait. I think I lost your audio. Hey. I think I lost your audio. No. It's okay. It's okay. It happens. I'll wait. You can mute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Now I can hear you. All right. So you said that on the way to the dinner, your mom told you that both of your grandparents were lawyers.
That both of my dad's parents were lawyers, yeah, and I had no idea.
Wait. Yeah. It wasn't in his book. I know in his book his father was.
No, on my dad's side.
Oh, sorry. Okay, on your father's side. All right. Okay. So, all right. So, you said you were waiting for something about the law that interests you. So, what was that interest?
Well, I just realized that my interest in going into law school wasn't obviously because that I was raised by so many lawyers, but because of my strong devotion to help women and children.
Okay.
And when I realized that that's really the reason why I would want to become a lawyer, I knew that now's the time for me to go to law school.
Yeah. Earlier you posted about somebody who was slain and what was that about? I know it's not in the list, but you posted about it. So maybe you can share to us what was that about?
From what I've read, it was a 15-year-old girl who was raped by 2 policemen on July 5th, and then she went to report it. After reporting it, she asked if she could get escorted back home because she didn't feel safe. She was with her cousin, if I'm not mistaken. And they declined this request of hers. And then on her way home, she was shot 5 times.
Okay.
And yesterday, her case was dismissed because there was not enough evidence.
Well, that's sad. Yeah. Yeah, that's sad. And later we'll learn about when a case is dismissed, when will double jeopardy attach. But that's not something that we're going to discuss here. That's what you learn in constitutional law too. It's okay. Yeah, it's sad that is happening, and maybe later if you want to share more about your concern about women and children, maybe you can share later. So okay, but okay, so that was so you wanted all right. Okay, so you wanted to have something that interests you. All right. So aside from did you have to settle any issues with your personal life before you enroll in law school?
I guess uh, I before law school, I was working the last 4 years. So besides work, I feel like if you're gonna start something new, you really have to do a lot of healing before
Okay.
you venture out into something else. If not, you're gonna drag all the things that you're trying to get away from into this new life that you're trying to make. So, I really took my time and I really wanted to figure out if, law school was really what I wanted to do. It Don't get me wrong. Like I said, since I was young, it's been my dream. But sometimes, it stays as a dream. Sometimes your dreams don't actually become your passion.
Yeah.
When I knew that it was my passion in life, I knew that I could make this dream come true.
Okay. It's definitely fine. When yeah. But by the way, your audio, can we check?
Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yeah, now. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. It happens. It happens. Third world problems. All right. But actually, it's okay. There are people who enter law school, and I think it's fine. It's fine hearing it. There are people who enter law school. I've enrolled in two law schools already. And there, I had classmates who say that I'm just here to be a better version of myself, or they're trying to prove something to their parents, or actually others would admit that they don't know what to do with life, so they just try up law. So yeah, it happens. But at least for you, you have a purpose and advocacy. All right, but did you have any intellectual preparation? Like, did you read books? I know there are a lot of books in your grandpa's receiving area. Did you read all of them?
Like I said, I wasn't working in the
Okay.
Philippines at the time. I was working in San Francisco. I came home for the holidays and then I was going to just take my Latin, take all the other entrance exams, and then leave. And then wait in the States whether or not I got into law school and then come back. But then this pandemic happened. So I ended up getting stuck here. I didn't read any law books or prepare myself in that way. What I did was I I read, other things that interested me, obviously in terms of women's rights. I
Okay.
watched a lot of documentaries. I just wanted to see what kind of life I would be living if I got to become a lawyer and do, what I want to do in terms of helping women. That's what I did as preparation. Because for me, it's one thing to, you know, intellectually prepare yourself, but
Yeah.
it's another thing to emotionally prepare yourself for what's about to happen. And I feel like that was more important to me than anything.
Okay.
Because you can like learning what you're reading. That's the easy part. But like being mentally and emotionally prepared for law school was what I needed to be.
Okay. I think for those who are listening right now, for law students, I already what Chris is talking about. But for my former students, friends who are thinking, of going to law school, it's really important that you like mentally prepare. Not just because not because of like you have a disorder later. No, but there are some who do. But I hope we're not going there. But it's more of the study load, the assigned cases. By the way, can you share us? I mean, do you have like an average of how many cases you're assigned per subject already?
It's around 20 cases per subject per week.
Yeah, and we know that those cases can go up to like 500, 300 pages. I remember for one subject we had like 1,000 pages to read, and we didn't anymore print it. No, it's not smart to print the cases because you'll only use it for one meeting only, and to go through all of this, you're going to answer why am I experiencing this, and I'm not sure about your experience, but there are those who say that law professors are nicer to fellow lawyers, but when it comes to law students, I'm not sure about the culture in San Beda, but for other I've had friends who experience just really being grilled, not just during recitation, but they're being like from head to toe they're being cursed. So it and it's actually not there are those who are, against it, but there are those who say that it's normal. When you go outside, you'll experience that from a lot of clients or the other party. So to go through this mental preparation would make you, your focus would just be like, how you would deliver your, or defend your client's advocacy, and regardless of whatever you hear. And that's, that takes a lot of mental preparation, especially for those of us who, want to have like a peaceful world. It's hard, to have yeah, reading all these problems in these cases would really require you to have something beyond, just, a purpose beyond just graduating or getting that law degree. So that's why, I think it's good that, Chris had a good preparation. She really knew what she was, going into. Uh, I thought you were reading more of the political reforms, because of your grandfather, uh, but you're very interested in women's rights, and that's very good. And actually, that's quite unexpected. Yeah, yeah, that's quite unexpected. I won't discuss why that's unexpected, but that's nice.
You can discuss it if you want.
Well, actually, because maybe because your grandfather was known to be, actually, in the spectrum, political spectrum, he's like a right wing, mostly righties, and women's rights are kind of, shifting towards the left. So that's why I didn't really expect that, that you'll be interested. I thought you were in for trade, or economics, or but
Yeah, I think a lot of people expect me to be following some sort of path. I'm not here to follow anyone's path. I'm trying to create my own. And I'm happy that I've had the support of my family to allow me to do this. I don't think there was a time ever in my life where I was told that I had to do something, or except for finish, school. But other than that, I was free to choose my life, free to be who I wanted to be, and I'm happy. And I'm also happy that, I guess, this is not my grandpa's forte, so at least I get to teach him something along the way.
yeah. And by the way, just a trivia for those who are watching, I actually gave Chris the option, who goes first. I want to interview her grandpa, so I asked her, who goes first? You want to watch your grandpa first, or do you want to be brave enough, to go first? And I'm happy that she chose, to go first, before I interview her grandpa. Hopefully next week, you can help me, please. All right.
It will. It's hard to go follow his act, so I said I better go ahead.
Okay, okay. All right. So, okay, are you pressured to become a top notcher?
I think being, JPE's granddaughter and going to law school in general is already a lot of pressure, because a lot of people expect me to be as brilliant and as sharp as my grandpa, but I'm not. I can tell you that now. But like I said earlier, I am my own person and I have my own set of strengths that's very different from my grandpa's. And I know that my own strengths and my determination will get me where I need to be. So if that is being a bar top notcher, hopefully in 4 years we'll
Okay.
find out.
But from your family, are you pressured? No, there's no pressure. Wait.
There's no pressure.
Okay, wait.
My mom's just telling me to pass it.
Okay. All right. So, but have you been? I forgot, but I think you've answered this question already before, but I forgot. Have you been pressured to be academically excellent, or were you academically excellent before?
I was an honor student up until 6th grade, and then I stopped, and then first year and second year high school I was an honor student again, and then I stopped. There is a lot of pressure, obviously. There's a lot of expectations, especially with my last name, but I'm human. I have different learning techniques and learning styles. So, of course my mom wanted me to have a really high average, but sometimes I just can't do it, and there was a level of compromise at some
Okay.
point.
All right. So, all right. So, did you get advice from your grandfather how to survive law school?
Yes.
Okay. What did he tell you?
just study hard and no boyfriends.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. But okay, okay. Because I remember going to him last year, before a week before our classes started. He was really recommending me to read this book, like by John Monkman, The Technique of Advocacy. He's been talking about it a lot. Actually, since October 2018, he was telling it to me. So I bought it, I read it, and yeah, it's good. Uh, but among other things, there are other readings that that we're piling up. All right. So, have you been assigned to read cases where your grandpa was involved?
That's actually the first thing that I've checked every single time I got a syllabus from one of my
Okay.
classes. I just, of course, if it's an Enrila case, I'd like to be prepared because I don't want to come in and they're going to ask me, and I'm just like, I don't know. I haven't read one yet that's for my class. I've read some that weren't assigned for my classes. But, I'm a very objective person and I will learn along with my blockmates what's happening and why we're learning that case. And then maybe ask my grandpa about it after. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, because in my experience, almost every subject we have cases where your grandfather is involved, and some of them actually I appreciate. And actually, it's not his fault. I think that's what people should know. It's not his fault that the justice ruled that way, and maybe and I think he has a good lawyer, attorney Acelito Mendoza, and actually, some people would say that because it's one Ponce and really involved, that's why the court ruled this way. But the thing with jurisprudence that we'll learn in law school is that if it's applied for a person, it's generally applied also to other persons as well, and there are people who can apply for it. For example, when there's this case that he was granted bail for humanitarian considerations. Actually, I wouldn't have met him if if that was not granted. But
Atligan Bayan versus Enrile.
okay, so and yeah, and after and I think more people situated like him, like because of age, can avail of the benefits of that jurisprudence. So maybe it's really a matter of advocacy. But anyway, okay, so I'm not gonna ask the other question because you haven't read the case yet. But if ever you do, just you can chat me if you want.
Okay.
How did you feel? All right. In terms of making friends in law school, is it hard?
You know, every time I'm new in a place, of course, I get scared just because there's just, you know, there's an unfair, I don't know the word for it, but people just prejudge me before
Okay.
even meeting me. So obviously I was scared coming into law school, but I always just stay true to myself. I have a couple of good friends in my school and I feel like I'm friends with everyone in my block. You know, we're all struggling together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Sometimes I'm the motivational speaker. I'm older than most of my blockmates, so at one point they asked if they were gonna call me Ate, and I said, please don't.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and by the way, when was the time that you decided that uh, you don't want to be judged because of your surname?
I've never wanted to be judged because of my last name because there's it's unfair.
Yeah.
You know about me or my family is what the media feeds you, and the media doesn't feed you every single thing,
Yeah.
as you can see. That's why I get a lot of messages, especially during this quarantine, like, "Oh, I didn't know your grandpa was fun," or that you guys are super chill. Yeah, we're normal people. You know, my grandpa, especially now that he's not in office, gets to spend time with us, his family, which we appreciate. And I feel like you should just always come in with an open mind, no matter who you meet, even if you've heard the worst things about them. Then you can make your own judgment for yourself.
Okay. And before you judge Chris, you have to watch her TikTok videos. They're fun. Yeah, actually, I was, yeah, honestly, I was really, a bit hesitant to invite you for a Facebook Live because I don't know how would you respond. So, so I really had to research. So, is this person like somebody I could talk to? So I think, so when I watch a few Facebook, I sorry, when I watch a few TikTok videos in your Facebook, I said to myself, yeah, I think I'll try. So I'm glad that you're here with us. So, all right. Do you believe that this country has to get over the blind, polarized debates about Marcos, Aquino, and Duterte and have more discussions in addressing like issues of mental health, domestic violence?
Okay, I don't want to talk about any
Okay.
admin, but I really can't stress enough the importance of talking about these issues. Like I mentioned earlier, they may seem trivial or like balewala to some people, but they're pressing issues that really need to be addressed. Especially, you know, this pandemic alone, the spike and the surge in numbers of mental health issues and domestic abuse cases is alarming. And, we won't know the after effects of this pandemic. So if we don't have these conversations now, then we're going to handle it as poorly as we're handling this pandemic.
Okay. All right. Actually, I think I forgot to ask one question. How about recitations? Do you also get scared?
I don't know a single law student that doesn't have a panic attack before recitation. So, yes, I get scared. I'm praying right before my class starts. While my class is happening, I'm praying that I don't get called.
All right. So do you have like do you have some good and uncertain experiences in your like you've been there for 2 weeks palang, right? So can you share to us like some of the recitations you felt you did well, some of the recitations you think you have to improve on?
I've only been called 3 times. The first time I was super nervous and everything fell out of my brain. So my professor was like, okay, let me just give you a hypothetical question. I was able to answer that, but obviously I was upset after because I knew the answer to what he was asking me, but obviously my nerves got the best of me. My second recitation was just to give facts of a case and then, followed by questions after. And
All right.
I was the first one that was called. So I was like, when you're the first one that gets called, you kind of set the tone for the class. If you don't answer well, bad mood na yung prof, right?
Okay.
So I was like, I need to do good because if not, he's gonna be masungit. My classmates are gonna be so annoyed.
Okay.
So I did the best that I could, and I was just surprised because in the end he was just like, very good, and I was like, oh, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
do you think do you think you're being given special treatment or no?
Definitely not. If anything, I think a lot of the professors expect a lot more from me, and I'm trying my best not to disappoint.
All right. All right. Okay. So are there still things in the past that bother you or make you feel not okay while studying law? Or do you
You
think you've
know,
dealt with them already?
I think it's normal for things to resurface. Your issues that you think you've moved on from or you've, I don't know, gotten over. They're always going to come back up when you least expect it. And when that happens, I've learned that, I don't push it away. I acknowledge that it's happening. I sit with it. I pray to God about it, and then I'll let it stay for as long as it wants to stay, and then it'll leave on its own because in that way it doesn't linger at the back of your head and it's not distracting me from whatever I have to read.
Okay. So like what do you do? Do you listen to music, look at art? Uh
I listen to worship music when I have issues.
all right. So worship music. So, other people would turn into love songs or to all right, all right. You're not into that. Okay. So okay. So based on your Facebook profile, you haven't worked in the government. Is it right? You
Yeah.
haven't been a staff of your uncle, of your grandpa. Okay. So you've worked only in private companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, can you share to us about your work experiences, like your memorable experiences, your job description, your achievements?
Um, I cannot get into detail about the job that I had
Okay.
for a big tech company, but I can tell you that working there, I've learned, I could write a whole book on the life lessons I've learned there. And if there's one thing that I could share with everyone is that you can always come into any situation or any person with positive intent. You know, when I learned this, it changed my perspective on a lot of things. So I always like to share that with people because I think it's an important skill to have.
All right. So, like, when you work, did you save for your like law school, or is it something that okay? So you save. So you're using your money now.
Yes, my mom obviously offered to pay, but I felt like I worked long enough to be able to be financially independent and pay for my own education, which for me, I like that because I hold myself
Okay.
accountable. Like, oh my gosh, I'm
All right.
spending for this. I better do good.
All right. You know, there are some law students that I know that turn into online selling. Are you like into an online business, or work while in law school now?
I had an online business and then it stopped obviously when I moved to San Francisco and I was going to revive it, but I cannot see myself baking and doing law school at the
Okay.
same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's too much, like they're both so time consuming. You can't do both. So right now I'm a full-time student.
All right. Yeah. Last year when I resigned, I wanted to experience a whole first year law school as a full time student. I was supposed to go back this year, but just like what I told you, that because of the pandemic, there I was a teacher, so there's low enrollment. So I think this is one of the ways, like doing FB live is one of the ways for me to uh, you know to to allow my extrovert self to be expressed, because before there were so many people, and then suddenly it stopped, and now I'm looking for a lot of human interactions. All right. So, do you plan to work in the government in the future?
No.
Oh,
I have I have no plans to work in the government or be a politician.
okay. But that's what a politician would say. But but let's see. Let's see.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's I know,
Yeah.
and my grandpa always tells me never say never, but it's not in my heart to do that. I It's a whole different ball game that I don't care to play into. Obviously, besides my grandpa, the other person that I really look up to is Gloria Allred. Everything that she has done and accomplished in her career is what I wish to do in my lifetime. So
But
that's what I will be working towards and not,
all
so
right.
much on the government side.
So, but you want to be in an advocacy. All right. So, would you do it through your grandpa's law firm? Is it still existing? The law firm of your.
Really interesting. Yes.
Okay. So, would you work through that, or you'll find a career elsewhere?
I haven't thought that far ahead. I mean, I feel like part of me wants to continue, obviously, what my grandpa started, but if it's not where I have need to be, then I will venture off.
Okay. So, do you intend to become a teacher, like a law professor someday?
I have no patience to teach. I'm
Okay.
so sorry.
Okay. It's
I
okay.
can teach someone a TikTok dance, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Anything else, no.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. All right. So, in what ways can or aspects can people count on you to do, for you to help or be?
um, I'm not really the kind of person that, will list down the things that I do for other people or the kind of person that will post about the things I do for other people. But anyone that knows me personally knows how empathetic I am as a person, and I will bend over backwards for people I don't know. But at the same time, I've also had to learn the hard way that I need to set boundaries of like how much to care or help for people. But it's just been in my nature since I was young. My mom is the same way. My siblings are the same way. We're very caring and empathetic people. So when someone comes to me with a problem or when they need help with something, I will always do what I can to help them.
Yeah, but just like what you said, we have to set boundaries. It's not because we don't care, but because we also
Yeah,
need to protect ourselves. Yeah, so
exactly.
we
But,
need.
I feel like, especially here in our culture, a lot of people don't understand boundaries. They're,
Yeah,
like, will they label us as, like, selfish or swapang, but you need to set these boundaries no matter how uncomfortable they are, or it'll just affect your mental health and your inner self-esteem or whatever. It's just going to affect you in the negative way instead of the positive way. And I like people need to understand these things.
yeah. But like, do you develop like a hate for the public, or no, 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 because of because of this criticisms that are being thrown at you or your family?
I don't have a hate for the public. I don't hate anybody in general. It's not in my personality to hate someone. I've gotten used to the criticisms or people sending me nasty messages on Twitter or Instagram. And I'll usually just, ignore that. The things that don't sit well with me are the comments where someone wishes death
Oh, okay.
on someone in my family. That it makes me mad because I would never wish that on anyone, even if they were my worst enemy. I would never wish death on them. So it makes me really mad, and sometimes I really want to answer back. But since day one, I've always kept it, ignore, delete, block. So I just keep doing that till today.
Okay. So, wait lang. Are you still there, Chris? All right. You're still there. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can still hear you. All right. So, okay. Uh, Growing up, since you were a child, were you exposed to these criticisms, being thrown at your family, or did your parents, did your grandfather, did they hide the newspapers from you?
No, I went to a local school, so I had teachers come to me, tell me things. I had people making comments from a very young age. So
And so when you heard these comments like for the first time, did you like ask your mom about them, or?
I asked my mom about them, and of course, my mom explained it. I think I was 8 the first time it happened to me. My mom explained it to me, and then since then, I just I respect everyone's
Yeah,
opinion about anything, but when someone tries to shove their own opinion and make you believe it or you make it your own opinion as well, I don't like that because we're all entitled to our own opinion. So when someone says something bad about my family, you're allowed to say that, right? But
yeah.
don't make me agree with you just because that's how you think or what you believe.
Yeah. By the way, for those who are watching this, I just want to confirm what what Chris is saying. I remember in terms of not wishing death to anyone. I remember last year or 2 years ago, I asked your grandfather if he was in favor of the death penalty. I know. I mean, before he was, but when I talked to him, he said he's like saying that he doesn't want it anymore. He doesn't want more people getting killed. His heart is grieving for the deaths of so many people right now. And actually, uh, that's a side that I hope other people will see. I was one of those who grew up, reading all of these, and there are matters that for the courts to decide. For as law students, we are being disciplined to just let the court decide on some matters. And last year, I think when before I left his house, the last time I visited him, he asked me some things, and I knew what his opinions were, but I said different opinions. So, and he was okay. Actually, our appointment ended like 4 or 5 p.m. But because I had to wait for my parents who were stuck in traffic somewhere to pick me up, like I stayed for more than like around an hour. So during that time, he was asking me questions. He was showing me his computer screen. He told me you set up his Facebook account, and Yeah, and then actually I noticed that uh, I'm not sure if it's already fixed, but I just noticed that he doesn't open like new tabs. He closes the browser and opens another one to do another Google search. So I'm not sure if, but I just knew that if if somebody would teach him a better way of browsing the internet, I know it's you. So and but I already appreciate to see that he knows how to browse. He was like pointing out these legal maxims to me. So yeah, so just to share our viewers na in at this stage at least the one point in really in the history books, I hope we could add some more details to that of how Juan Ponce really is now after office, and how he wishes like right now to stay with your family, to spend more time with your family. He was really just talking to us in that he just wants to spend more time with you guys. All right, all right. So all right. So you've dealt with criticisms and uh, until now, you're still bothered by are you still bothered by this criticism, or you just block them if they say something?
Like I said, if I usually just ignore them and block them, I don't need to draw any more attention. I don't like. I'm
Okay,
not that kind. I don't like doing that.
all right.
I'm not gonna. Well, my if I argue with you, then I'm also shoving my own beliefs in your face, right?
Okay,
And I don't. I feel like I don't need to prove the reality of who I am or who my family is to other people. If that's what you want to believe and that's what you want to see, that's fine with me. But I will live my life. There's more peace that way rather than me like answering people and arguing with them. It's just it's a waste of time that I don't have at the moment.
yeah,
All my spare time really just goes into reading right now.
and TikTok.
Well, TikTok is basically what's happening to me now is that if I finish all my cases, then I indulge myself by making one TikTok. That's my prize.
All right, all right. By the
That's my
way,
rule of myself.
yeah, you don't feel like any like safety risk or security risk with that because they say it's funded by I'm sure by Russians or by Chinese companies. So I mean, it's not something that you're very concerned of.
It's too late. We've been on Facebook for how many years? It's the same thing.
Okay, all right.
We've all sold our data about ourselves a long time ago, and just like TikTok is the least problematic platform out there. So for me, it's like my happy bubble. There's nothing negative on there, so I'll keep doing it
Yeah,
if I have time.
yeah. And I think that's true because when I check your profile, you really didn't make any post that like defending a position, but you were very I noticed that you were very active in promoting women's rights and caring about the minorities. So maybe later I'll ask something about those. All right. So okay, for number 20. Actually, I was expecting you don't want to answer question number 20 because I interviewed somebody else like in our generation, and she also declined to answer this. But all right, so it's common for those in our generation to have experienced issues with heartbreaks, like love life, romance. Do you have your share of heartbreaks on this area?
Of course,
Okay, would
I've
you like
had
to share?
my fair share of heartaches. Um, when I was younger, I used to pressure myself that I had a timeline of what I had to follow. Like, I needed to accomplish things at certain ages. I really like that's where my mind was at. Like for me, I wanted to be married at 26, have a
Okay.
child at 28. You know, I'm 28 now and I just started law school. But I realized that you know, things don't happen in your time, they happen in God's time. And his timing's never wrong. So for me, I just focused on whatever I was called to do. And the right person, the right circumstance just presents itself when the timing is right.
Yeah.
And
But
I think when you accept that, when you release the need to control your life, everything just kind of falls into place.
okay. But there are there's a lot of those in our from our generation down below. there are those who are like struggling with issues about romance. Do you think you've struggled with romance, like love life? They call it boyfriend girlfriend.
I've yeah, I've been single for like 2 years, almost 2 years now. I This is the first time I've been single in a really long time, and I'm really enjoying being single.
Okay.
I mean, like it's nice to have a
Yeah.
companion, but like I said, the timing of my life right now, I cannot imagine sharing or like giving attention to someone else for like 5 minutes just because I'm studying,
Okay.
and that's like law school is my boyfriend at the
Okay.
moment.
All right. All right. Yeah. Actually, that's why I appreciate you agreed. That's another thing that I appreciate you agreed to this. To this interview because time is very precious. For me, I can still do this because my classes would start tomorrow. But for you, you've started classes. So, yeah. All right. So, in what ways can the ordinary Filipino relate to you?
I think if you're human, then you can. I'm not a hard person to relate to. I've gone through a lot of things in my life. I've gone through a lot of seasons in my life, just like everyone else. I've been, at the top of several mountains and I've hit a lot of rock bottoms, but, I'm still here.
Okay.
But, one thing I'd like to share with my friends or anyone in general is that I think we need to let go of the toxic belief that you need to find a lesson in everything that you go through.
Okay.
I mean, that's such an archaic way of thinking because most times there is no lesson to learn other than that you have inner work and inner healing to do. And if you try to find a lesson, then you're just like deflecting and prolonging the process that you need to do, the process that you need to heal,
Yeah. Okay.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know. Actually, before maybe before that won't make sense to me. But wait, okay. So I thought I lost you again. So maybe before, actually, I was also one of those who are very, very focused to do things, but maybe because of my like last year. Actually, I'm not officially diagnosed of anxiety, but because I did not want to be officially diagnosed. So what I did was I talked to my aunt who is a psychologist, and then I made her assess me. I asked her to assess me, but I didn't like it to be recorded. So there's no so I'm not officially diagnosed, but I had my aunt assess me, and when I found out that uh last year I was hearing that I needed to prevent heart attack and Bell's palsy. I was at that my anxiety level was that high, and I was surprised because I'm not sure if you've browsed my Facebook already, but a lot of people who have known me for years know or are aware that I've been posting these funny videos, and but right now actually it's psychosomatic. So for those who are not aware of the term psychosomatic, it means when I'm not feeling like a good emotion, like I have high anxiety or I'm sad, I'm scared. There are just things that I feel in my body, like my head, my hands. That's why I'm wearing gloves. Sometimes they hurt. My mouth. That's why sometimes it's hard for me to speak. And actually, I got scared because I only found about this when I was already in law school, and I knew I needed to do a lot of recitations. I knew I needed to do a lot of handwriting. My professor once noticed that when he made us like these handwritten assignments, and in some pages my handwriting was very well, but in the later pages my handwriting was very bad. So and then I had to open up. So and this is now the time when I really have to accept that we have to spend time for inner healing. They are just issues that won't go away. We have to face them. If we don't face them now, we'll still face them later. And actually, I'm glad that you did not go to law school at once. Uh, I thought a lot of people like especially for those people who have like grandparents or parents who are public known in the public, they usually go straight to law school, try to impress people, then win an election. Like for you, you're qualified to become a house representative. At age 25, you're 28. So, but for you, you were not thinking about it. Okay, but you're concerned about human right of women's rights. So, Okay, so can you share to us your heart about women's rights and why it's so important to you? And there are others who like I've been observing posts of other politicians and other young advocates, and sometimes I get a feel like it's something that they're just trying to show. So, but for you, for some reason, I think I think there's some authenticity in your post. So, can you share to us your heart for women's rights?
I grew up in a single parent household. My mom was a single mom for a very long time. So I watched my mom go through an annulment, a lot of things.
Yeah.
And uh, seeing that growing up, you kind of, you know, my mom to me was like my hero. So if anything happened to her, I wanted to understand why, or all these things. And then as I grew up, I saw my mga kasambahay and what their husbands were doing to them, or what my friends' boyfriends or my friends' husbands were doing to them, and like at some point, I just kept hearing that that's just the way it is here in this country, but up to what extent are we gonna keep accepting this excuse? I can't sit here and do nothing while, a girl's getting beaten up, a child's getting beaten up. And that doesn't sit well with me, and it doesn't make me sleep very well at night knowing that there's something I could do to prevent this and I'm not doing it. So that for me, women's rights, they're super, like, I grew up around a lot of strong women, and they wouldn't have been that strong had it not for all the things that they've gone through. And unfortunate events, obviously, but it made them who they were, and they've raised a lot of strong and beautiful women. But at the same time, it's still so taboo to talk about a lot of the things that women go through on a daily basis, especially in this country.
Okay.
So that's something I want to change, or like make conversations around.
Okay. So, are there like amendments in the law that you want to happen in the future when it comes to women's rights, or do you think it's more of a proper implementation of the current laws?
I think we can start with the proper implementation of the current laws. I feel like what we have right now and the things that are being, that are planning to, like, I know that there are other acts coming sooner of bills, but I feel like we can work with what we have now. But as things evolve, as people become more vocal about things or be socially aware of things, then obviously more laws or more bills need to be passed to, just like everything else that we've gone through, it's evolving. So are women's rights. It's evolving. So eventually at some point down the line, we're going to need to change a lot of things in terms of that. But I think for right now, it's too ambitious for me to say too many things. I want to work with what I have.
By the way, as a law student, do you have the feeling that you hope Congress won't pass too many laws in the next 4 years until you pass a bar? Or if they're going to pass a law that's a law repealing other laws so that you have less laws to study? Do you have that feeling, or have you ever thought about it, or no, you just do your thing?
I mean, I hope not, but I mean, if it happens, they're only passing it. For me, if they're passing it, obviously for good reasons, by all means, bring it on. But there are some things that are being passed that I'm just like, this is a headache, and this, shouldn't be passed, but whatever. I'll just cross that bridge when I get there.
Okay. All right, so we're about to end. So I just want to mention the ones who are interacting with us in the page. So maybe these are your friends, Gabi Ojeda.
Oh yeah, Gabe.
Yeah, Shannon Robinson, Monica Buenaventura.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and for those who like the video, at least in the page, I'm not sure in my own account. So I have my former student and Ernest Henry Dizon, and maybe the others, these people, Ricky Galicia, Reca Gonzalez, Johnny Del Garcia, Clark David Dalumbar, Nick Fulgencio, Gabi Hoeda, your friends, and Raymond Pagilla.
I know it's two or three of
All right,
them,
it's okay,
but
it's okay. So I mean, for those who are watching, thanks. And okay, Chris, are there any other things you want to say?
I feel like you made me cover my entire life in 1 hour.
Okay.
there's, I mean, for me, I don't know. The only advice I could give to anyone, especially if you're going into law school, I think this is super important, is don't be afraid to fail. I've seen a lot of my classmates either like withdraw or I get panic attacks because they're so afraid to not be good at this. How do you like for me just come into it as it's something new that we're learning. We're not going to be good at it on day one. We're probably not going to be good at it at all till maybe next semester. uh, I've accepted that. And I feel like if I didn't accept that before going into law school, I would be crying myself every night because I didn't do good. You know, I give it the best that I've got. And if that's not enough, that means I have to work harder. It's not that I failed, but I have to work harder.
So you don't plan to quit law school?
No,
Okay, good. All right.
no. I mean, like, I don't know if I will finish in 4 years. Hopefully I do, but I'm not going to quit until I have my JD on the end of my name.
Yeah, and I think you can help more women, yeah, and children when you like pass the bar. I think based on what some of my friends have been telling me on women's rights. I think there are a lot issues in giving support. There are a lot of men who are not giving support. I mean financial support, uh, to their children. Like there's this friend who is already in college, but all her life, even if her dad has work, all her life, all she received from her dad was like 5,000 pesos. But that's so little compared to what his dad is to her dad is earning. So yeah, and I think we have to affirm people and children especially that they deserve to be supported. And there are so many ways that they can work on or use within the law so that their rights will be vindicated. Okay, so Chris, don't leave the Zoom meeting yet. We'll have like a screenshot picture later. And
Okay.
but thanks for being with us. I know there are questions I've asked that would really require a lot of authenticity, and you're brave. You're brave to go first. To be interviewed here first before your grandfather. I just sent you the questions yesterday, right? So I thought
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to process it first, but thanks for being brave enough to be with us. All right, so and next week around this time, I hope you could help us, with your
Yeah,
topic.
I'll be there. Don't
Okay,
worry.
all right.
Yeah.
So all right, so thank you, Chris, and thanks for those who watch. And if you have other questions on this, you can like type it in the comment or send me a message, and maybe next week we'll I can bring it up. All right. So again, thanks, and I'm gonna end this, but Chris, don't leave the meeting. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.